In geometry section 1.2 angles, we are going to be identifying types of angles based upon the measure of the angles. We're going to use proper notation to identify angles. We're going to identify an angle bisector and a perpendicular bisector, and then understand congruency as it relates to angles. So to start with, we're going to go ahead and go through some definitions. So for example, an acute angle is one type of angle. The definition of an acute angle is an angle that measures more than 0 but less than 90 degrees. So more than 0 but less than 90. Our next definition, so we have an example of an obtuse angle. And an obtuse angle is an angle that measures more than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. Then we have a right angle. If you check out the right angle, it has a little box in the corner. If we have a right angle and we think that something is a right angle but it doesn't explicitly show that box, it is not a right angle. So the right angle must show that box in order for us to label it as a right angle. And right angles are an angle that measures exactly 90 degrees. And then finally, we have a straight angle, different from a straight line. So a straight angle gets a degree measure, whereas a straight line does not have a measurement. So a straight angle is an angle that measures exactly 180 degrees. So those are different types of angles. Go ahead and take a second and write down each definition. So we have acute, obtuse, right, and straight. In this next activity, we're going to talk about the notation of angles. So an angle is named using the vertex or 3 points, one on each ray with the vertex at the center. So point N is known as the vertex. So I'm going to highlight point N right here, and this is called the vertex. The angle can be named, so this angle can be named using the vertex. So we can call this angle N. And then from there, we must go in order of the way that it's drawn. So we can call this angle A, N, G, or we can call this angle G, N, A, either one. So in order, starts at A, then goes to N, ends at G, or we could start at G, go to N, and end at A. Either way, the vertex is in the center. If you have multiple lines that come from the angle, so there's multiple angles within a single angle, you must use 3 letters. So unlike segments, rays, and lines, angles use 3 letters. Go ahead and pause the video to name the angle in all possible ways. So for number 1, we can call this angle OHW, or angle WHO, or angle H. Notice that we have this angle symbol on all 3 to show that we're talking about an angle and not just random letters. For the next 4 examples, we're going to go ahead and apply our algebra skills and geometry skills together, and we're going to solve for x to find the different angle measures. So in number 2, it says in the diagram below, this little m right here means measure. So we're going to find the measure of angle MAT. So where you see angle MAT, which is right here, we're going to write in 5x minus 5. Then we have angle HAT. So from H to A to T, so it's a different angle. We have 3x minus 1, and then finally, we have angle MAH. So from M to A, ending at H, this whole thing equals 50. So the big angle is comprised of two smaller angles. In order to find angle MAT, which I have right now in blue, we're going to have to solve for x. So I'm going to take my two smaller angles, which is 5x minus 5 and 3x minus 1. We're going to take those two angles and set it equal to the largest angle, which these two angles make up the bigger angle. From here, you're going to go ahead and solve for x. Remembering that when we have like terms that are on the same side of the equal sign, we combine them with the symbols in front of them. So we have 8x minus 6 equals 50. I'm going to go ahead and add 6 to each side. So we have 8x equals 56. Divide each side by 8. And we get that x equals 7. To find our final answer, we're going to input the 7 into angle MAT. So we have the measure of angle MAT equals 5 times 7, which is 35, minus 5, which is 30 degrees. So our final answer is 30 degrees. If you wanted to check your answer, you can always input the 7 into 3x minus 1 to make sure that both of these two angles added together get me to 50. For problem number 3, it says that ray OL and ray OE form a right angle as pictured below. So for this problem, it says that we have a right angle. So I'm going to go ahead and label these two rays together as a right angle. So I'm going to put a box in the corner. Because we have that box in the corner, I know that this entire measurement equals 90 degrees. Then it says additionally, the measure of angle LOV, so from L to O to V, is 9x minus 3. And we have that the measure of EOV, from E to O to V, is 7x plus 13. We're going to find the measure of angle LOV. So once again, we have two smaller angles that make up the larger angle. So I'm going to add 9x minus 3 and 7x plus 13 together and set it equal to 90 degrees. Go ahead and solve. When you finish solving, you'll get that x equals 5. In order to find the final answer, I'm going to input the 5 into angle LOV. Angle LOV I have in pink. So we have the measure of angle LOV equals 9 times 5, which is 45, minus 3, which equals 42 degrees. Number 4, angle JOS is made up of 3 smaller angles as pictured below. So if you take a look at angle JOS, this entire angle measure is a straight angle, so therefore the whole thing equals 180 degrees. It says that the measure of angle JOK is 15x. Then we have the measure of angle KOE is 20x minus 15. And then finally the measure of angle SOE is 10x plus 15. Which angle is larger? So we're going to go ahead and add all 3 of these angles together, because all 3 together make up the larger straight angle, which is equal to 180 degrees. So we are adding them all together and solving for x. And the reason why I'm adding them all together to solve for x is to prove which angle is larger with the angle measure. So it's not enough just to say which angle is larger. I'm going to also find the larger angle number, the measure of it. So go ahead and solve for x. So once we get that x equals 4, we're going to go ahead and plug it in for x. We find out that 15 times 4 gets me 60 degrees. We find out that 10 times 4 plus 15 gets me 55 degrees. And then finally, we have 20 times 4 minus 15 gets me 65 degrees. So which three angles is larger? We could say that angle KOE is largest with 65 degrees. Right, number 5, it says in the diagram below, the measure of angle PAC, so from P to A to C, that's the whole thing, PAC equals 130 degrees. Then we have that the measure of angle PAK is 8x minus 6. And then we have that the measure of angle CAK is 4x minus 8. Please make sure that you're labeling your picture correctly. And now you're going to go ahead and set up by adding 8x minus 6 plus 4x minus 8 to equal 130. Since these two smaller angles added together get me the largest angle. Set it up and solve. When you solve, you'll get that x equals 12. Finally, you have to input the 12 into the measure of angle PAK, which I have in pink. So the measure of angle PAK equals 8 times 12 minus 6, and that equals 90 degrees.